All right, here's a little reminder for you. If you haven't already figured out that units are important when it comes to doing math and science and all kinds of things, here's a reminder. $125 million mistake just because units were left off? I don't think so. That's not cool. Pretty recent though. This is what was supposed to happen. That was the path it was going to take, but because they left off the units, that's the way they went and bam, crashed into Mars. Yep, but I guess we can give them some partial credit. Let's tackle with this lesson some of the more difficult unit conversions. Now you can see here we're going to do some multi-step ones. This means that we don't have one direct unit conversion we can make. We might have to do it in a couple of baby steps. For example, if we're going to turn 16 years into minutes, then I'm going to have to do that in parts. I'm going to take years, and I don't know how many minutes are in a year, but I do know how many days are in a year. So I'm going to turn those into days, then I'm going to turn the days into hours, and then I'll get to the minutes. So I'm going to just do some baby steps. So 16 years, that's about how old some of you are. Let's figure out how old you are in minutes. So we start by writing down the 16 years, and then according to our plan, we're going to turn those into days using one of our unit conversion factors. All right, you know the rule. Years are on top, so they go on the bottom to cancel, putting days on top. And 1 year is the same as 365 days. You can use 365.25 if you want to get technical. And that cancels the years. Okay, so next step, we just do another unit conversion with the days this time, putting days down here and hours up on top. Now I know there's 24 hours in 1 day, so that gets rid of my days. Then another conversion factor will turn the hours into minutes. Hours down here and minutes up in the numerator, with 60 minutes making 1 hour, and the hours are gone. So we just apply these over and over until we get to the unit that we need, which is minutes in this case. And then we bring in the calculator. Now I want you to notice I'm always setting up everything before I pull the calculator over. So starting back at the beginning, we had 16 and timesing that by the 365. Remember, we multiply by numbers on the top and we divide by anything on the bottom, but those are all just ones, so I'm ready to go get my answer here. Holy moly, you guys are old. What is that, 8 million? 8,409,600 minutes old. Time to get a walker for you. All right, let's do this with example 2. Now, ounces into tons. Again, I'm going to make a plan here. I don't know how many ounces are in a ton, but I do know ounces into pounds, and then I can take those pounds and turn them into tons. So that's my plan. We'll put down the 4,000 ounces and put in a few unit conversion factors. Okay, so ounces down and pounds up on top. I hope you remember this. There's 16 ounces in a pound. And then next, well, back up. Let's cancel those ounces out. All right, now we're in pounds. And as far as that goes, we have 1 ton equals 2,000 pounds. Those pounds get to cancel out there. Tons is all I have left, so I've got the unit I want. Now let's take care of the numbers. This time I'm going to take my 4,000 and I've got a bunch of ones on top, but I'm going to divide by those numbers that are on the bottom. So I'm dividing by 16, and notice what happens here. I divide again, this time by 2,000. And that gives me a final answer of about 0.125 tons. Okay, not too bad. How about rates? Now, rates are a little bit different. You know, a rate is where we have a mix of units. Like here, we've got inches per month. Maybe I've got a plant or something growing 1.4 inches per month. How many feet per year is that? Well, as far as rates go, you see this word per. Remember that that means divide. And what you're going to do is you're going to rewrite your original information in fraction form. So it's 1.4 inches per, or divided by, months. And you can put in the 1 month if you want, but I'm not going to. All right, we're going to convert that to feet per year. So again, our goal is to get that into feet over years so that we can say feet per year. So how do we do this? Well, we still apply our unit conversion factors, and we just need to pay attention to how we can cancel them. So let's take care of the inches first. I'm going to go from inches into feet. Inches on the bottom to cancel, and feet on top. You should know there's 12 inches in a foot. That'll cancel your inches. That gives me feet on top, exactly what I want as I look at what my answer should be. But it's in feet per month, so I need to get rid of those months also. All right, another unit conversion comes in, And this time, and here's where we see this new. Months are on the bottom. If I'm going to cancel them, I'm going to put them up on the top. And this puts the years down on the bottom. So there's 12 months in a year, and the months on the top here cancel my months out here. And look what I have. I've got years in the denominator exactly where I want them, so I have feet per year. And then I just have to do the calculations for the numbers. All right, so 1.4 from the beginning, it looks like I'm going to times it by the 12 months I see on the top. Then I'm going to divide it down here. Oh, divided by the 12 months down at the bottom. What do you know about that? 1.4 feet per year. 1.4 feet per year. That kind of reminds me of a little video I'll show you at the end of this. You might have seen it. It's pretty hilarious. All right, let's see if this example gives me something a little more interesting with those numbers. 9 kilometers per liter. So I start by writing it as 9 kilometers over 1 liter. And then I'm looking for miles per gallon. I want my answer to say miles in the numerator, gallons in the denominator. And I gave you a couple conversion factors. You don't have to have these memorized. Okay, so let's start off. How about just for kicks, we get rid of the liters first. Let's use the liters first. So this little conversion factor with liters on the top and gallons on the bottom. Why am I putting liters on the top? Yep, I want to cancel them from the bottom there. All right, now fill the numbers in. 1 gallon and 3.785 on the liters. Wipe those liters out and circle gallons. That's exactly what you want on the denominator. Okay, let's go to the last thing. Now we got to take care of those kilometers. Back at the beginning, we had kilometers on the top. So let's put kilometers down here and turn those into miles using our conversion factor right here. 1 mile makes 1.609 kilometers. Okay, the kilometers go, and I've got miles on top. Miles per gallon is my unit, so what's my number? Pull the calculator over. Okay, it's 9. Multiply it by that 3.785 that's in the numerator. And let's divide it by the 1.609 in the denominator for a final answer here of about 21.2. Let's say 21.2 miles per gallon. All right, now when it comes to applications where you're really working these out in real life, you need to know how to kind of lay out your plan. So let's read through this. Step 1 is always to read it. Andra's personal record in the 400-meter race is 63.4 seconds. We want to know, what is her best speed in miles per hour? All right, so guys, here's the thing. Always focus on your end goal. Find the question, what is her best speed in miles per hour? And the unit that is given, miles per hour, should tell you kind of where you wanted to head with this. Now I'm going to box this because this is going to be my final answer as I go through. All right, let's write down some things that we know. It's a 400-meter race. 400-meter race, and she's doing this race in 63.4 seconds. So that's the distance she can travel. And notice that we're going to have to turn those meters into miles, and we're going to have to turn the seconds into hours. So let's turn the meters into miles. And let's make sure we turn the seconds into hours. Now I don't know how many seconds are in an hour, but I do know how many seconds are in a minute. So I'll do that, and then I'll turn those minutes into hours. All right, so let's start out with the meters into miles. Now we have this conversion unit that takes us into kilometers. So actually I guess we're going to have to do it in a couple of steps. First we're going to have to go into kilometers, and then we'll go into miles. So let's kind of rewrite that. All right, now meters into kilometers, that's metric. So I'm not going to be doing any unit conversion other than sending some kangaroos down the mountains. In fact, let me do that right over here. So it's kangaroos hopping down mountains, drinking chocolate milk. Okay, it's meters are here. That's our main unit. It's 1, 2, 3 jumps to make that kilometers. 3 jumps backwards. So moving your decimal point from here, 1, 2, 3 is going to put it right in front of the 4. So it's 0.4 kilometers that will turn into miles. All right, and that's going to happen with a unit conversion. So it's 0.4 kilometers over the time of 63.4 seconds. Okay, here we go. Multiplying by a conversion factor. Let's take care of those kilometers. Kilometers on bottom turned into miles on top. Fill in your numbers and cancel the kilometers. And let's circle those miles because that's the unit we want in the numerator. All right, let's take care of the denominator now. We've got it in seconds. So let's turn those seconds into minutes, with seconds canceling from the top. 60 seconds makes a minute. The seconds go out, and minutes is not what I want, so I'm going to do this again, turning those minutes into hours. Minutes on the other side of the line into hours. 60 minutes is 1 hour, and the minutes are gone too. So now I've got hours, which is the unit I want on the bottom. Putting in the 0.4, timesing it by the 60, and by 60 again. So everything on top's multiplied. And then I'm dividing by those numbers I see on the denominator. And punching this in. Final answer, here we go. About 14.1. So it's about 14.1 miles per hour for my final answer. All right, that wasn't too bad. Let's see how we do with this next one. Jared is swimming laps for exercise in a pool that is 20 yards long. One lap is 2 lengths of the pool, so he's going up and back. And he swims 1.5 laps per minute. At this rate, how long will it take him to swim a mile? All right, we've read it. Let's identify our question. How long will it take him to swim a mile? So we're going to say this way. 1 mile is equal for him to how much time? And I don't even know what kind of units to use here. Maybe just minutes, since that's the unit we have. So how many minutes for that 1 mile? There's our question. Now let's list a few things that we know. We know that the pool is 20 yards long, and 1 lap is 2 lengths. So let's say, if you understand this, you're going forward, that's 20 yards. You're going backwards, that's 20 yards. So that's 1 lap. 1 lap is equal to, that sounds like 40 yards to me. 40 yards. And he also, we know that he swims 1.5 laps per minute. So 1.5 laps is the same for him in time as 1 minute. You can write it out that way. All right, so now that we have that kind of laid out, let's make a plan. So we want to go from miles and turn it into minutes, and that's going to be a little bit different. So let's just write down what we've got to start. We've got miles, and we want to turn it into minutes. Now, in terms of laps, maybe we could turn the miles into how many laps he needs to do. And then we could turn the laps into minutes, it looks like. So this could work. The only problem is I don't have a conversion from miles into laps. So I'm going to have to take a little bit of a detour. I don't know how many miles are in a lap, but I do know how many feet are in a mile. And I know how many feet are in a yard. And I have a tie. That's going to take me back here. That laps into yards right here. So I'm going to have to take a little detour. So there's my plan. Let's apply the plan. All right, so let's start with the 1 mile. And let's do a conversion, turning it into feet. All right, 5280 on the feet to make the 1 mile, and that'll cancel the miles. Okay, next one, we're going to go into yards. So feet down here this time with yards upstairs. And 3 feet makes 1 yard. That'll get rid of the feet. And then, let's see, according to my plan, I'm going to go to laps. Right here's my conversion for that. 1 lap is 40 yards. So I'm going to put those 40 yards on the denominator and the laps up here. The yards go out. I'm in the home stretch, literally. All right, so the laps now. The laps are going to be turned into time. In other words, laps are going to be turned into minutes. And 1.5 laps is 1 minute of time. And that cancels the laps, and that gives me exactly the unit I want. Look at this. I don't have any units left except minutes. I started with miles. Now they're minutes. Let's do the math. Let's do the arithmetic. Okay, so 1 mile. Looks like the only thing I have on the top is that 5280. So let's put that in there and divide it by everything we see on the bottom. The 3 and the 40. Divide it by the 40, and also divide it by the 1.5 on the laps. Okay, and we've got a final answer about 29.3, just over 29 minutes. Let's put in 29.3 minutes. And there's our answer. All right, now these can be a little tricky, as evidenced by this next video. Now this is optional. You can stop the video now and go do your try these, or you can watch this. This is a pretty famous video. It's got almost 9 million hits on YouTube. It went viral. It's pretty crazy. You don't want to be this girl.
Alright, we're traveling from Logan to Boise, and I just proposed a math question to my beautiful wife, Chelsea. And the question, very difficult to calculate, is if you are traveling 80 miles per hour, how long does it take you to go 80 miles? Okay, what do you think, Chell? Let's go through the process. What do you think?
Well, if I run the mile in about 9 minutes...
Wait, what about the tire turning thing you were talking about? Do you think that affects it?
Well, I'm just guesstimating probably about... It turns about 400 times in a mile.
That's just guessing calculations?
Yeah, I don't know how you would work that out.
It'd be tough.
Yeah, so... I don't know. Because if I run a mile in like 9 minutes, then... I mean, but that's when I'm out of shape. When I'm really in shape at like 7 minutes is when I'm like really in shape. And that takes me a mile. And we're going 80 miles. I'm running at about probably 10 miles per hour, if that.
Yeah.
And that's pretty fast for a human being, I think. But, I mean, it's got to take at least like 58 minutes or something
58 minutes? It's pretty
to
close.
go 80 miles.
Do you want to know what the answer is?
But,
Think about 80 miles per hour.
yeah.
So how long does it take me to go 80 miles if I'm traveling 80
You're
miles
driving
per
fast. You
hour?
are driving faster than a minute a mile.
Yeah, totally.
So I would whack 80 in half, and that's 40. Because I mean, you're probably going 2 minutes a mile.
Just whack it in half.
Well, it depends on. I mean, some cars' tires turn faster than others.
Yeah, definitely affects it.
Because I mean, I think a truck probably is slower because it weighs more.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it also matters if your car's a stick or automatic.
Okay, Chal,
What?
think about the term miles per hour.
MPH.
MPH. So if I say I'm driving 80 miles per hour, that means I'm going to go 80 miles in an hour.
No, you are not, because you are driving faster than a mile a minute. I can run 1 mile in 7 minutes, and that's a 10. Okay? So, I mean, that's booking it too.
Okay, so if I'm going 60 miles per hour,
Then it'll take about 30 minutes. I would just cut it right in half.
I'm trying to explain the answer, but
Well, you are not making sense, because I make sense, you do not make sense. My car's tires may be they're kind of a little flat, so they may not move as fast as like a police officer's tires that are full, but
okay, Chal, the answer.
my tires are turning maybe, I'd say about 400 times per mile.
Okay, I'm going to tell you the answer. You ready for
No,
the
they
answer?
gotta be like 1,000.
You ready for the answer? The answer
You
to...
don't know the answer.
I do know the
You
answer.
can guesstimate just like I guesstimate.
I'm not guesstimating. I'm using math and science. I'm using my own term. Okay, Chal. The answer to the question, how long does it take me to travel 80 miles if I'm driving 80 miles per hour? The answer is 1 hour. Your guess was close.
So say you drive 60 miles per hour at 60 miles. You want to go 60 miles at 60 miles per hour. Is that an hour?
Yep.
What about 40 miles at 40 miles per hour?
Then you will go 40 miles in 1 hour.
No, you cut that in half. You're going more than a mile a minute. Okay, let's time. Right now.